What's up? What's up? Welcome to The Walking Dead Season 4. Hopefully, this season is better than Arrow Season 4. Because we all know Arrow Season 4 is pretty terrible. We all know that Arrow Season 4 is pretty terrible. I'm your host, The White Tiger Beckham, and today we got Walking Dead Season 4. So this season starts off where it's been like a long time. It's been like a couple months since the ending of season 3, and the prison has become pretty packed. We got more characters, more involvement, and more romances. Yes, we got romances in this show. Beth has got a new boyfriend who is played by Smallville's Bart Allen. Yeah, they got the actor who played Bart Allen in Smallville, to appear as Beth's boyfriend on the show. Also Tyrese has got a girlfriend. Her name is Karen. She was the one that used to work for the governor back in season 3, and now she's dating Tyrese. And Carol was also mentoring these two little girls named Lizzie and Mika. Yeah, Carol. And we also got that, the nerd kid. Spencer. I just forgot his name. But anyway, he hangs out with Carl while Mika and Lizzie are naming the walkers. Carl berates them for naming the walkers. He's like, these people aren't people, but Lizzie tries to defend her actions by saying that they are walkers, because guess what? She's 12 and she doesn't know any better. Yeah, these two kids aren't fit for this zombie apocalypse. So Michonne has been looking for the governor but has no luck. So she decides to stick it around in the prison. Herschel has now got a cybernetic leg because off screen he was able to get a leg. So anyway, yeah. We also got Bob. He's a really cool character. He's Bob. I miss Bob. Strange Things. Anyway, so Bob and the gang decide to go for a run. Decide to go out when Bob accidentally tips over a liquor bottle, releasing walkers, and that kills Beth's boyfriend. Good job, Bob. You killed Bart Allen in only the first episode. And Daryl does tell her, but she's fine with it because she doesn't want to show emotions. But so we also got the fact that there's this flu going around that kills people. It kills that nerdy kid who then turns into a zombie, who then turns into a zombie. So while everyone's asleep, he bites another guy that turns him into a zombie. So then that guy bites Mika and Lizzie's dad, and Carol thinks that she cut off his leg, but too bad. But sad that Mika and Lizzie have to say goodbye to her dad one last time, as she tells him to look at the flowers to calm Lizzie down, as Carol is forced to kill him. Yeah, that's Lizzie and Mika's thing for them moving forward. To calm down, they have to look at something and just say, "Hey, look at this thing, Lizzie," and Lizzie does, and that calms her down. Yeah, that's basically her thing. So they're able to kill that nerdy kid. I can't believe I forgot his name already. I just said his name, Blood-Eye Toy, before making this recap, but I forgot his name. So Herschel, being the veterinarian, decides. So Karen and this other guy get the sickness, but then Tyrese finds his girlfriend and someone and he goes to see Karen and only finds her scorched body. And now he decides to. And also, Glenn and Maggie are engaged. I forgot to mention that by last season. Yeah, Glenn decided to marry Maggie, and now they're basically technically married. They don't say they're married, but since Glenn calls Maggie his wife now, even though they doesn't actually exchange rings, they're technically married. So so Rick confronts Carol about the fact that she's the one that killed Karen and the other guy, and they decide to find these two people, and Rick's like, "Hey, what about your daughter?" And she's basically saying that Sophia was the other Carol's daughter. So since Carol abandoned burned those two people, Rick decides to leave her behind because she's a danger to the people. She's a danger to the president. Meanwhile, Rick has become a farmer. So there's this. Sasha gets the flu. Dr. S because the flu. So Sasha's able to survive, but Herschel has to kill Dr. S. And who's watching from afar? The governor. And we get a whole flashback episode about how the governor, after the whole Woodbury riot went down, he basically burned Woodbury to the ground and met these four characters: Lily, played by Lila Michaels from Arrow; Tyra, her daughter; Megan, her niece; and Lily's dad, who has lung cancer. And Governor basically pals around with them for a little while. Pals around with them for a little while. He pals around with them. So Lily's dad dies from. Lily explains that her daughter, Megan, basically her dad left her, and she now looks as Philip. She looks at Governor, or him going by a fake name, Brian, which was, I think was his name in the comics, Brian Blake. Yeah, he looks at her as his dad, as her dad. So Lily's dad ends up dying from lung cancer and turned into a zombie. So the governor has to use the thing he bought to basically kill him, and yeah. So meanwhile, they're walking when the governor and Megan are caught in a pit surrounded by walkers. But that's when the governor's former people show up to save his life with two new people: Alicia, aka Dana Drake from Arrow, and the other guy, aka Ricardo Diaz from Arrow. Yeah, a lot of Arrow actors are in this show. Yeah. So so starts talking about his former governor days, and Brian decides that he doesn't want Martinez to reveal his past, so he decides to murder Martinez full of walkers. And that's when these new guys come in, and the new guys are basically the Daryl and the Ricardo Diaz guy is basically the Merle the Merle, and the other guy is basically the Daryl. So the governor decides to kill the Daryl guy, and basically assumes his throne as the governor once again, and teams up with the Merle type to basically and he basically teams them up, basically saying he basically captures Michonne. Governor captures Michonne and Herschel, and basically tells the guys that these guys are evil and they destroyed his once home Woodbury. So they team up with the governor, including Alicia, because Alicia proves that she'll do anything the governor says. So the governor goes to Rick, and it's basically like, and even goes to Rick and is like, "Hey Rick, if you give me the gun, you give me the keys to the prison, and I'll kill all of you. If you don't give me the keys to the prison, I'll still kill you. And Rick gives this passionate speech about if we can change and you can change, then everybody can change. But then Governor's like liar and kills Herschel, takes a katana and executes Herschel. Now Herschel's dead. So R.I.P. Herschel. You were the best character. So Rick decides to go on an all-out war against the governor for killing his friend, and obviously Maggie and Beth are sad that their dad's dead. So but the governor has a tank, so he basically, and Alicia and Tara after seeing her, Tara after seeing the governor kill a guy decides to not want to help the governor, but Alicia has no qualms about killing people and goes on to help the governor, and leaves her girlfriend behind to go help the governor. So Tyrese is with Judith, but then Lizzie and Mika show up. Lizzie kills Alicia, even though I don't like that she has guns. But they save Tyrese's life. Of course, I like how they have guns, but I know it's a zombie apocalypse, so of course they do. Of course they have guns. It's a zombie apocalypse. So, yes. So, yeah. So, yes. So, during the fight between Rick and the governor, meanwhile, back with Lily and Megan are just hanging by themselves when a dirt walker shows up and bites Megan. So what does Governor do? He does a sacrificial, shoots her in the head, and shoots his fake daughter. So Michonne does what she always wanted to do and drives the sword right through the governor, and that's when Lily shows up, shoots him in the head, and that's the end of the governor. Yes, the governor has finally came to a close, and we're all happy because we don't like the governor. So Rick decides to look for Judith and only finds a bloody car seat. So immediately thinks Judith is dead. So with the prison overrun, the gang all goes their separate ways, and now we get into the kind of weird show where we follow each character. So let's first follow Rick and Carl. So Rick, Carl, and Michonne, because Michonne is there too. So Carl and Rick are just going to a house where Rick passes out, and Carl basically yells at him, thinking Rick's dead, basically lets out all of his anger against Rick and thinks that he can do things on his own, so he blames Rick for everything, the death of everyone at the prison, because they think they're dead, the death of Judith, because they think she's dead, and the death of Lori, because Lori's dead. So he blames so Carl decides to go fight by himself, and it doesn't work. A walker almost gets him, but he's able to take out that walker. Meanwhile, Michonne is just in a herd of zombies and flashing about her time before the apocalypse, during the apocalypse, when it was just her boyfriend's friend, and her son. But that's when she knocks on the door that's when she sees Carl and Rick and decides, and that's when Rick's like, "It's for you." So then we also cut to who else? But Daryl and Beth, Daryl and Beth. Random pairing, but they're a really good pairing because they're able to survive zombies. So meanwhile, that's all we get with them. So we get a little stuff about them later, but I'll mention that later. So then we cut to Maggie, Bob, and Sasha, where Maggie, Bob, and Sasha are just hanging out, hoping Glenn's okay. So they decide to hold a bus throwing zombies, but there's the bus that Glenn and the gang left on last time they saw them, but only find a bus of walkers. Yeah, they only find a bus of walkers. only find a bus of walkers. Gotta say it. So meanwhile with Glenn, he's still at the prison, basically just by himself until he finds Tara, the girl who, but she tells him that she's telling him that she's sorry about everything that happened, that and then he finds out about Herschel's death. So then they're picked up by Abraham and his friends who are going to Washington because Abraham's friend Eugene knows what's causing the zombie virus. So meanwhile, it's just Lizzie. It's Lizzie, Mika, and Tyrese and Judas are all hanging out when the zombies show up, and Judith won't stop crying. So kind of looks like Lizzie's trying to shut her mouth up and pressing her hands so far it looks like she's gonna kill her. There's something up with Lizzie. I'm just gonna say it. There's something up with Lizzie. But that's when Carol comes back, and he says, "Hey, where were you?" And she's like, "Rick just abandoned her," because Rick, back when Daryl and Beth decided to basically bond over what they've been through, hiding in a trunk, and doing. They find a place that basically Beth decides to get drunk. Decides she wants alcohol because she's tired of staying in this camp. But then Daryl's like, "Yeah, there's no way you're getting drunk on some peach snap." So they basically take her to a place that reminds Daryl of his old house, and you got that chair you always sit in. So this basically causes Daryl to basically let all his anger, and they basically decide to blow up the house, and in the ensuing battle, Beth gets kidnapped. Wait till that for season 5, because we have no idea what happened to Beth. So meanwhile, back with Rick, back with Carol, Tyrese, and Mika, Lizzie, and Judith. Mika, Lizzie, and Judith are all are hanging out when they find a place to stay. And then a walker shows up, and Lizzie decides to hang out with this walker. And Carol kills it, and she just starts letting loose on Carol, yelling at her, saying how that was her friend, and she tries to tell her, no, that's bad, walkers are evil, but she's like, no, we can change them, because for some reason Lizzie really believes in it. So when Mika decides to run out after Lizzie, after she discovers Lizzie hanging with a walker, but even Mika tries to tell Lizzie walkers are evil. But then a bunch of other walkers attack. And they're all burned. So they decide to shoot them. Bang, 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 bang. They decide to shoot all the walkers, and so after, they're all getting some water until they discover Lizzie over Mika's dead body. And Lizzie tries to say, "Oh no, she'll come back as a zombie," and she tries to pull a gun on Carol, because Lizzie's a psycho. She's a serial killer. She's a future serial killer. So she tries to pull a gun on Carol, and Carol's like, "Oh yeah," and she was almost gonna kill Judith too. And the thing says she can't even walk, because how would she be a very good walker? And Rick would not, right? Rick would. So they discover that the whole so Mika is a psychopath because she's been killing animals. She just killed her own sister, and she has psychopathic tendencies. So to save the gang, Carol shoots Lizzie in the head, telling her to look at the flowers as she dies, and they go off to the next adventure. So Glenn and Abraham and all that and Tara are looking for Maggie. Where Abraham's like, "Dude, we gotta go. But he's like, "Hey, Maggie's through here with Terminus." So they go in, but they're all running like walkers until Maggie and the gang show up, and they reunite with her. So Glenn lies to Maggie about Tara, saying how he was just a friend she found on the road, not that she was involved with the governor's business. So they decided run to Tyrannus, where they play the great song, Be Not So Fearful, Be Not So Frail, while they're going to Terminus. Meanwhile, in the finale, with Rick, so meanwhile, so after being split up with Beth, Daryl finds these gangs called, Daryl finds these people called Claimers, who, these are the people that broke into Rick's house the prior episodes. So, and Rick killed one of their men, so now they're out for Rick's blood. But Daryl has no idea they're talking about Rick. So, until he actually has them stumble upon Rick. So they pull a gun to Rick's head and try to threaten to kill Carl, and even threaten to kill Rick and Michonne. So Rick says, you haven't messed with me, and bangs the thing into the guy's head and starts killing Joe. And then they said that Carl and Rick kills all the Claimers. Yeah, they killed the guy. They killed the Len guy before. So Daryl basically reveals that he was like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I met these guys after the Bassett incident." Yeah, we don't even see Carol and Tyrese or Judith. Maybe they're going to appear in season 5? I have no idea. Maybe their whole storyline with them dealing with the whole fact that Carol just killed Lizzie will be a season 5 issue. Who knows? Who knows? So, So they decided to go all the way to Terminus. I was talking out Rick and Joe, like, dude, we're bros. And decided to go to Terminus, where they find all these people, but who are all nice to them until they start shooting at them. And Rick starts thinking, what is going on? Is this another governor situation where these guys pretend to be nice, but they're really evil psychopaths in disguise? Are they evil psychopaths in disguise? So they basically lead them to their friends, and Rick says one of the baddest lines that Netflix basically censored over. He's like, these are our friends, and he's like, okay, I guess they're our friends too. And Rick's like, for some reason, Rick says no. And he's like, they don't know something that they don't know anything. And he's like, what? And he's like, they screwed with the wrong people. The real thing was that Rick says they effed with the wrong people, but Netflix or someone made a censored version. I don't understand why, but that's the ending of season 4 of The Walking Dead. I enjoyed this season really much. The death of Herschel was sad. In this episode, there was a lot of Herschel flashbacks as to give like one sad goodbye to the character, and Scott Wilson on the main cast. And I have no idea what happened to Beth. That's my season 5 prediction. What happened to Beth? Season 5 prediction. So anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for season 5 of The Walking Dead.